everyone and welcome to my new video. So today it's a bit of a depressing topic for New Year's Eve, but that's my life in a nutshell. No social life. Whoa. Welcome to my channel. So I'm going to be discussing my anorexia story, and I kind of wanted to tackle this because I want to show how quickly anorexia can take a hold of your life. Before September I was a pretty normal person, mostly normal person, always been a bit odd, but not anorexia odd, you know what I mean? And this condition, this illness, this disease, whatever you want to call it, just crawled out of the woodworks and completely annihilated every aspect of my life. And I don't want people to think that this is something that only happens to people who aren't confident, only happens to people who've had bad childhoods, because that's not the truth, which leads us into my anorexia story. There will be images in this video showing my body at the state it was before and at the state it is now during my anorexia. So if you think you'll be triggered by that, or if that's something that you don't really think is something you need to be seeing, then please click off, do not watch this video. Save yourself that sadness, that trigger, and just enjoy New Year's Eve, enjoy the period, and enjoy your life. Do not let your eating disorder rule you in that way. So, if you're still here, and if you're wanting to learn more about my personal anorexia story, then keep on watching. So on to the nitty-gritty. I think it's important to start at the start. And with an eating disorder, that starts in childhood, usually. I'm not saying that's with everyone, but for me, I think it did. I was pretty normal. I was happy and healthy. I was a bit weird, not gonna lie. Didn't have many friends. Ran around a tree thinking it was God. But other than that kind of 7-year-old weirdness, I was pretty normal, you know. I really enjoyed my food. I loved getting seconds and thirds and fourths. And that was my life, you know. I just had lots of friends, I enjoyed playing, and I enjoyed eating, you know. But I think there were some warning signs. I think it's pretty easy to discount the things that happen early on when it comes to anorexia. You know, it seems like it starts the day you start restricting, but that's not the truth of it. It really starts a lot earlier than that. It kind of takes root. And my anorexia, I think, in a sense, took root in my academic years. So when I was at primary school, I was a perfectionist. Even at that young age, I was obsessed with getting perfect grades. And that perfectionism carried on into high school. In fact, it got worse in high school. I was completely obsessed with getting no concerns, which is like bad marks, you know, no lates, no missed homework, no forgotten pen. But I was also desperate to get the best grades possible, and I came out with brilliant grades. I did. But at the same time, I came out with no experience of failure. I came out with this long-standing and ruthless perfectionism that continues to be a problem, that has made me anxious and depressed, especially around exam time, but has also formed the perfect breeding ground for an eating disorder. As well as that, I have experienced trauma, not sexual, and it's just you know, family issues. And I'm not blaming my family for my eating disorder, because there is no one to blame for this. But all those things, you know, family trouble, perfectionism, kind of interlinked. They kind of mashed together. And as well as that, I had some toxic friendships. So I had a few friends who would boast about their bodies, you know, them being smaller than me, them constantly wanting to outdo me in my weight, which makes no sense right now. But picture someone who would send you, I don't know, pictures of their thigh gaps or pictures of their abs to try and make you feel less important and less valued than them. And that was the kind of toxic friendship I'm talking about. So toxic friendship, family issues, and perfectionism, and they all kind of interlinked to form this horrible mess that is anorexia. I did go through a short burst of restricting from around the age of 14 up until 16, so it never lasts long. It'd be a couple of weeks, and I think my parents weren't that worried because most girls at that age go through diet phases, you know, there are fads, and I think they kind of saw it as a rite of passage for a young teen to be very conscious about their body and to want to be, I don't know, to look like a model. So they kind of let it slide, and it was only ever for like a week, and it'd just be a pretty restrictive diet. And that continued from 14 to like 16, and then 16 to 17, that was the perfect year for me. I didn't have any issues in terms of restriction. I wasn't that fussed about how my body looked. And 17 to 18 even was the same thing. I wasn't that fussed. I was kind of in my happy place. I was doing well at school. I wasn't as concerned as I was in high school with getting perfect grades. And I was in the best place mentally that I ever have been. Bar when I was like 4 and got excited about eating chocolate, you know. That was a pretty good time. But other than that, 16 to 18. So then my 18th birthday came. Now that was not the best time for me because I think that was the highest weight I'd ever been. I was still at the bottom of the healthy weight range, so I was still bordering on slightly underweight, but it was still the biggest I've ever been. I come from a family that has a high metabolism. All of my sisters are very thin because they have heart conditions, which means their metabolism is through the roof. So I have always been the bigger sister, but at this point I felt grotesquely big, and that really skewed my perception of myself, and it really kind of skewed how I viewed kind of my diet and my attitude and my lifestyle. So it ended up that around my birthday time, maybe a few days after my birthday, I started restricting. It started off pretty innocently, really. It started off about 1,500 calories a day, you know, healthy eating, you know, not full fat yogurt. I went for the fat-free option, which in retrospect is not necessarily a bad sign. It's not a warning sign, it's just someone kind of maybe wanting to make better lifestyle choices. But what those choices actually meant in terms of my eating disorder was a kind of slow progression or regression, I suppose, from the normal to the extremely restrictive. And that went pretty quickly. Like I went from here to here, like pretty damn fast. It went from 1,500 calories to maybe 900, and then pretty steeply from there it dropped to around 300 a day. So that would maybe be no breakfast, and then a small bowl of pasta at dinner time, or maybe a small breakfast and a smaller bowl of pasta. And for a month or so that was my life. And I was very steeply losing weight, and at this point my mum decided there was a problem and I needed to go and see the eating disorder service, which I did. So I have weekly sessions with a dietitian, and she kind of realised pretty quickly that my weight was dropping too fast, especially considering the weight I was at before, which was a healthy weight. It was at the lowest. I'll insert a picture. Right. And it dropped pretty quickly, which was a warning sign because obviously I went from bordering on underweight to underweight, and then I went to very underweight. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm not on 300 calories a day now. I'm going to be honest. At the moment my eating disorder is still pretty grossly intact, so I would love to be on 300 calories a day in a way, but I am striving for recovery, and I am striving to be better because, quite frankly, you know, anorexia has ruined my life. It's not a nice disorder. I'll insert a picture of me now. Yes, that is my anorexia story, but it's not over. I'm striving for recovery, you know. I want to be able to eat again. I want to be able to have takeaways with my boyfriend, who's literally sat right there now, listening to music. Well, he's not anymore because his earphones have stopped working, so he's listening to me ramble.
You're rambling.
So yes, you know, I want to be able to eat takeaways with my boyfriend. I want to go out with friends, the few I have. I want to enjoy my life again, and I think one of the only ways I'll be able to do that, in fact the only way I'll be able to do that, is to overcome anorexia nervosa. So yes, I hope you all enjoyed. Please leave a like and a comment and subscribe, because I will be uploading more, I promise. Oh, why did I just do that?
You've done like 3 tongue pops
I
this
don't
whole
know why
video.
I've done that. Why do I keep tongue
Just end
popping?
it there. That's perfect.
Why do I keep tongue popping?
That's perfect.
What? Just a tongue pop?
That's that whole outro there. It was a mess, but I love it.
I hope you enjoyed the outro, guys. See? It's just verbal diarrhea.
Just end it!
Bye, bitches.